Are you ready to become awesomer? Hello, everyone. My name is Umar. I'm your host on the No Limit Selling podcast, where industry leaders share their tips, strategy, and advice on how you can become better, stronger, faster. Just before we get started, I've got a question for you. Do you have a negative voice inside your head? We all do, right? I'm going to help you remove that voice in under 30 days guaranteed. Not only remove it, but transform it. So instead of the voice that sabotages you, there's one that propels you to much higher levels of performance and success. There's a link in the show notes. Click on it to find out more. All right, let's get started. Hello, everyone. Super excited today. We got Rasel on the show. I was on his show a few weeks ago, and this is one smart dude, so we had to get him on our show. Rasel, welcome to the program.
Yeah, thank you so much, Umar. Pleasure is mine to being in your show. Yeah, I really appreciate it.
Excellent. So you've got a podcast too, and you've got like a large following. Tell us about who's following you and what made you start the podcast.
Yeah, it's been like a great long journey, to be honest. It's all come from like my childhood because I lost both of my parents very early age 13.
Wow. What
And
happened? Let's back up. What happened to your parents?
yeah, so my dad had a cancer. So he had a lung cancer when I was 11 old. So it's been like 2 years he struggled through before he passed away. And then my mom was like a heartbreaking because losing my dad wasn't easy for her. So
Oh,
she
yeah.
she couldn't take it. And so yeah, within like 3 months time, like she passed away as well. And I was just turning 14 that time, day before my birthday, like she passed away. So it was like a traumatic moment for me, and like losing both of them in like the same year, same time. Like it actually got me. So all of my family members, my siblings, my cousin, uncle, auntie, everyone was in UK and US based. So there was no one look after me. So emotional support, physical support, I wasn't getting none of that. And being like a 14 years old teenager, like you don't know what's going to happen. Like you feel hopeless, and I went for like a depression, anxiety attacks, insomnia,
Wow.
of health issues, like also like a suicidal thoughts came along with it because I didn't see any hope. And also I got rejected a few times before I moved to UK because they didn't trust me to move to UK and everything, like a lot of immigration rules and
Well,
everything.
you look suspicious. I wouldn't let you in either.
Yeah, so I was a teenager, so I didn't know like what's gonna happen. Like, and none of my family member come and be with me because everyone, my siblings, everyone got married. They got their own family, they got their own life. So I wasn't expecting that either. So yeah, like living kind of dark moment. I didn't know what to do. So it was like a tough moment to. So that's why going back to where I came from, like always wanted to inspire people. Like if I can overcome my anxiety, depression, dealing with the losses, and start everything from a fresh new country. English wasn't my first language, and building a seven-figure business, it's not going to be easy. So I wanted to share that. So during the pandemic in 2020, uh, we've been forced to work from home. My office was in a city center. We've been forced to work from home. The office got shut down, and I had plenty of time to rethink like what to do with my life. And yeah, I was bored, so I thought let's start a podcast and talk about my stuff, like my all experiences I had my previously. So I started the podcast, did about 20 episodes on my first year,
Mm-hmm.
talking about self improvement topics, like how to choose your career, dealing with the depression, anxiety, dealing with the loss, overcome fear, etc. So yeah, I grown like about 300 monthly downloads on average for the first year after like doing the 20 episode. And then last year in August, I started to invite guests over. Like I heard other people's shows and their stories, and I realized it's not only me lost someone, it's not only me gone through depression, anxiety, and everyone dealt with it a different way. So I always wanted to share with my audiences. So yeah, I started inviting guests from different background, like yourself, one of the guests, business owners, small to medium sized business owners, entrepreneurs, military person, cancer patient. I interviewed all Olympic athletes, couple of them from Canada. I interviewed, so I did more than 150 episode in the last 1 year with them guests from different background, and the audience grew like from like a 300 monthly downloads right now on average 120,000 monthly download. This month probably gonna do 130, so it's
Nice.
increasing daily. So yeah, so it's been a great journey with
That's
like a
wicked
starting
cool.
podcast. Yeah.
Actually, I was talking to this. I was in a presentation with this woman. She is a runner and she was raising money for pediatric cancer. And she
Hmm.
was telling her story that she was running the Marine Marathon in Washington, D.C., for the upteenth time. So she knows,
Yeah.
the entire course, which gets to mile marker 21. all of a sudden she loses her balance for about a quarter mile, half a mile, and then it regains and she finishes the race.
Yeah.
And then the next day she comes into work and people are saying, "Are you okay?" She goes, "Yeah, of course I'm okay." They go, "No, you're not okay. Go to the doctor." "I'm
Mm.
fine." "Shut the hell up. Go to the doctor." And she goes to the doctor. And after a bunch of tests and different doctors, she finds out she's got an inoperable brain tumor that's terminal in her head.
Oh wow.
And as she's talking to her oncologist, one day they're just walking on the floor, and he happens to mention that only 4% of the funds that go into the National Cancer Institute in the US go for pediatric cancers. So she
Yeah.
goes, "That's not right." And to that point, she had raised $850,000 for pediatric cancer. And then she was about to do this thing. She was going to do 7 marathons.
Mhm.
That's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 marathons
Yeah.
in 7 days on 7 continents. So they were
Wow.
flying to Antarctica that morning, do a marathon, 26.2 miles, fly to Miami. The next morning, do a marathon, fly to Europe, do a marathon, go to Africa, I mean, around the world, and ending up in the Arctic Circle doing a freaking marathon. That
In
is like
7 days.
amazing. So we think
Crazy.
we can't do a lot of stuff. We can do amazing things if
Yeah.
we're motivated enough to do so. And you kind of hear stories about moms doing heroic things for their kids,
Yeah.
even like just mothers. They're like a lot of women, like you'd say, like, can you carry, you know, 15 pounds for like 5 minutes? No, I can't. As soon as
Mm.
they have a baby with like one of those car seats, that's like 25 pounds. They'll carry it all freaking day long. It's like amazing what we're capable of when we're motivated. Personally, I
Yeah.
just let the kid down at at a shopping mall. Lost and found will find him. I'll pick him up at the end of my shopping. But apparently, that's not the right thing to do. So
Yeah. Yeah. It's been a
let's
crazy
talk
world.
about your journey. Like sometimes it takes a while to get over something, and
Yeah.
sometimes it's just like a thought enters your head and you just change the way you see the world. Have you had one of those moments where you just had like an inspiration and it just put you on a different direction, a different level of being?
Yeah, definitely. Like after losing my both of my parents, age 14, I struggled through. I was on antidepressant medication and everything, and I was on for like a 6 month. And after that, like one day, I just realized enough is enough. Like after I got rejected from British uh, immigration, and then I just totally gave up on it. Whatever happens, if I get visa, that's fine. If not, then that's fine. My life is right now here, and I have to take control of it. And one day I just decided what I need to do. I'll have to have like a positive distraction. So from that day on, I focus all of them like what I can do rather than what I can't do. So I focus on joining in a computer programming courses. So learning how to web develop, doing
Nice,
a GitHub website, etc. Also Microsoft Word. And that's like after my school, I'm doing that. And also one of my brother-in-law, his brother. So his brother opened like a stock brokerage in my town in Bangladesh. So it's like a new thing, and there was like air conditioning office and everything. So he told me
oh
like,
nice,
whenever
yeah,
I feel warm, yeah, whenever you feel warm, just come to the office and just check it out, like sit down and hang around there. So I was like, I'm going there because he thought how the hell he's going to get the money and whoever invest in the stock brokerage. So I went there and just studying them and looking through. And when I was like 11 years old, then I was giving my dad medication, like all of the cancer medication. I was his
hmm
looking after him the day to day. I was in a carer. So I knew all of the medication, which is doing really, really well because the cancer was like a
spreading like
crazy
cancer.
spreading. Yeah, in Bangladesh is too much. And I've been with my dad all the time with the cancer hospitals and everything. So I know which medication is what they're given and everything, which is working really well. So going through them stock brokerage, and I see like them companies, they actually selling them medication, and I was like, these things if I invest in, they're not going nowhere. The prices keep going to go up, and the company is going to make money. So I invested I had like $1,000, £1,000. I'll say about like a 1 lakh in our money wise. I
Yep.
invested that gold within 3 months time. And I love the game. I thought this is something I want to do. I want to be a business owner. I want to do something. And also I was managing my dad businesses. So he had like a transport business and a restaurant business. And also he'd been a landlord. So we had like a lot of property. I was collecting all of the rents and everything. So I was into that zone. I was like, even though I get graduated, even though I become something in a professional way, I'm always going to do business. So from there, like I was focused on the business. There's a way to make money and things like that. So
Pause there
I was,
just for a second. Pause there for a
yeah,
second. We'll come back and continue from here.
sure.
Something you said that was kind of interesting a little further back. You got rejected by the British. Like you can't come to England right now, and you had this mindset shift. Is like I think it can be summed up with this. It's just like okay,
Yeah,
I don't give a shit. I'm just going to focus on
yeah,
whatever's in front of me. And there's something about that. Like you see people here in the U.S. like all their friends have girlfriends or they have got married and they got kids and they're the one left and they're desperately trying to find someone. And the more desperate they are, the more they make people repel from them, especially women. And then one day they go, "Oh, women are lesbians," or whatever they tell themselves. And now I'm not. Women are off my plate. And that very weekend, they're at the supermarket. Somebody drops a can of beans. They pick it up, and all of a sudden, ta-da! There's love. So there's something about wanting something too badly. Certainly that can help, but sometimes you really repel people away from you. And when you kind of say, I don't give a shit. All of a sudden, it frees up space for things to happen. Would you agree with that, or am I like misreading it?
yeah, yeah, definitely. Like when you like stop giving something like too much, and you start to come, either could be a relationship, business, in a family, everything in life. Like for an example, like I dealt with like IBD for last 3 years now, and recently got diagnosed. So about 4 or 5 months back, I was really really ill, and it come to the point like more I wanted to get better, I'm getting more worse. So one day I decided like I'm not gonna focus on like getting better anymore. I'm gonna focus on like enjoying every single day, and whenever I feel better, that day will come eventually. The moment I did that, next morning I started to feel better, and automatically that things
Interesting.
changed.
So,
Yeah,
what's interesting is this is like I often teach the difference between commitment and attachment. And so you
yeah,
could have somebody, they've got a kid that plays baseball here in the US. You guys in England play like cricket. Nobody knows what that is except you guys. But anyway,
great.
playing baseball, and this dad buys his kid the best glove, the best bat, the best everything, and the kid's playing, and the dad is living through that kid. And the dad can get really angry. Why aren't you doing better? Don't give up. Then you got another dad that says, buys whatever equipment, could be new, could be used, and he just wants his kid to have fun and enjoy what he's doing. So dad A is attached to the outcome, and it's more about me rather than my kid. And the second dad is like, it's about commitment. I'm committed to my son. And I think that's a good lesson in life that when we commit to what we want, and that means wholeheartedly we can go after it. But when it's
Mm,
like, I have to have this. And if I reach this level of success, then that means I'm like, I've made it and you got to respect me. And all that is BS. Just commit to whatever you want to commit to and see what shows up. And oftentimes something amazing shows up, right? That
yeah,
people, when you really ask the universe, and I'm not talking about some mystical thing, it's just like, I want to do this. The universe bends over backwards and certainly gives that to you and opportunities for it. When you go, I must have this. Or God, if you love me. How many people have done this? Dear listeners, put this in the comment. Oh God, if you save me from this thing, I promise I'll go to prayers 5 times a day or whatever. And we try and make this deal. And it's like, just be yourself and be committed to what you want to do.
yeah, definitely, definitely. It just like we have to have like a direction in our life, or definitely. So like which way to heading. Like if you're driving from Chicago to from Michigan, like you need to have like some certain sat nav or maps what direction you're heading to. If you just hop on the car and just say like let's roll, like you end up nowhere, probably
Yeah.
in a different state or somewhere. But in the same time, you have to enjoy the process. But probably 6 hours drive, probably 12 hours drive, you don't know. Probably there is an accident in a motorway, all sorts certain things happen, or you probably felt tired, you took in a service station, and your journey could be like a delayed or like unexpected event happens. So you don't know like how far you're going to get there, but you enjoy the process, and eventually like which way you're heading to. You eventually get there, right?
So there's two things there. So I agree with you. Like if you don't know where you're going, that's the definition of being lost. And then some people go, oh my God, I want to get to San Francisco.
Mm,
But if you don't know where you are,
yeah,
you're also lost. So I think it's a twofold thing. Number one, you need to know who you are, what your purpose is, and then you go, my purpose is in this direction, and what's awesome on that direction becomes the goal. And let's say that's San Francisco, then I go down that path, and if I get a flat tire or something bad happens, I still have a
Yeah,
joyous day. It's like, oh my God, I'm doing what I was meant to do. And so I think that's just a fundamental right. You need to know who you are authentically, and you need to know what your purpose is. And so, what is your purpose, Russell?
my purpose is so many things, and I'm still figuring out. I'm 28 years old, and
You're
I haven't.
ancient.
Yeah,
Give up. You're ancient. You're 28. Oh my God, it's all over now.
yeah. So I'm 28 years old. I got plenty of things to learn and observe. I'm experiencing things, and 10 years back, I wouldn't be here. I'm today like that wasn't anything planned out. 2 years back, I didn't know I was doing a podcast or being on your show. So things is going in a different direction. So right now, financially wise, like I'm stable enough. I'm happy where I am. I achieved my all
Nice.
goals financially. So right now it's like a giving back. So grow my podcast, grow my community, and find a different way to do something. Like I want to get like a religious studies. I want to go for like a self-improvement path, writing a books, all sorts of stuff rather than like money and things, because right now I'm involved in investing. I do angel investing as well. So that's going to be me. It's always going to be on the side, and that's not like a the purpose or something. That's what I'm not living for anymore. It's more about like giving and contribute and make some changes in
Yeah.
people's life or one person's life.
Helping people is really good. So I'm going to help you right now, right here. You need to get a better hat. Like this hat says New York, okay? Get with the program. And actually, if you can't see this video, Russell's wearing an NY hat, which is New York also. That's just kind of interesting. We're both wearing New York hats, and we're both not in New York right now. I'm here in Toronto. You're in London.
Yeah,
Uh, so yeah, so I think it is so important to help other people. Uh, One of the things I tell people is, hey, if you want to learn something, teach it. Because oftentimes you have mastery over what you're doing, but you actually don't know what you're doing. When you have to like dumb it down and teach someone, oftentimes you get insights yourself. It's like, well, the way you do it is this, and you go, ooh, that's pretty smart. So, a that when you really learn a lot, and two, the easiest way to feel better is to help another human being. When you help them out, and two, you just feel freaking fantastic that you actually did something of service that day.
definitely. Yeah. So it comes to like emotionally, I try to help people rather like a financially way. So emotionally will be like the most important part. So we've been through a lot with the emotionally. Like I nearly lost my child last year. He diagnosed
Mm,
with the brain damage, and he was in ICU for 2 months. So if
wow.
a parent comes like their child in a NICU, like a neonatal unit, and whatever the trauma they had to go through, like you don't know like what's going to turn around. So me and my wife, we try to help them people like on the Facebook groups, like in the community,
I
and
love
we
it.
all us to do that. Like if you go into like his physio session, like there is another moms and dad there, like it's gone through like a similar situation we've been through. Emotional support is most important then, rather than like a financially you can give someone, because the money transaction is like a one time one off, and probably how long you can keep up something. But if you actually give inspiration to someone, like they can do their own thing. You can teach something like how to do a business, marketing, whatever thing is, and they can implement it on their life. That will be like a better way to do something right now.
Absolutely. So we're going to go serious in a minute, but I'm going to do something silly right now. There's a thing in the U.S., like a saying, if you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
if you teach him how to fish, he buys a boat and drinks beer all day.
yeah,
That is a
yeah,
joke.
definitely.
It's not, of course. So here's the question for you, Russell. We can get stressed. We can get depressed when things happen, like your kid is like in serious medical jeopardy.
Mm.
What would be the five things you would share with someone to get out of that depression and focus on the job at hand? What would be the advice you'd give people, like the steps? If you're like really feeling down, this is what you should do to get better. So share those with us.
First is gratitude. So you have to find out like what you actually grateful for, because right now
Yes.
like when things are not going your way, like there is so many things you can blame, like why me, why this happened to me, why not someone else, why my this friend is doing a great life. Their child is so healthy, fulfilled. They're living in best house. They got nice car. But you have to think like who is below you, like probably like in your neighborhood or some of your college friends who got F and G wherever they failed on the class and they working on a normal minimum job probably, and you are doing like a middle class. You're doing a six-figure salary probably. You can be a
Okay, I
best
like
case.
the first part. I don't like the second part, but let's back up a little bit. So in the US, you've got A, B, C, D, E, F. Are you saying
Hmm.
in India they got a G? There's something lower than F?
Yeah, there is.
Oh my God, that's like a horrific. Okay, so number one, gratitude. Number two, compare yourself to other
At
people and
all.
say, hey, at least I'm better than this guy. Then what's the third thing?
So first thing is like yeah, gratitude. The second thing is looking for like who is like you're better than them.
Yep,
Third one is like looking for like what you can control of the situation. So you have to find like every possible way to find what you can do rather than what you can't do. So list it down like what I can do rather than what I can't do. So if something is like I cannot do, just put it on the side and say this is things I cannot
focus on
control
what you
over.
can control. Absolutely. So that's
Yeah.
number three. Anything else?
Yeah, and number four will be looking for finding in the present moment to live in the present moment. Like the action you need to be taken. Like what you can do, just need to
Right
take
now?
the action.
Brilliant.
Yeah, right now, and just focus on that. And then, like after you've gone through all of them four steps, then whatever results comes end of it, accept it. If you did your best, accept it. There is nothing else you can do it
Acceptance.
because
I love it.
because otherwise, let's say if your child been through like for my example, my child been through a brain damage, there is nothing I can do. I accepted, I did my graduation and everything else. Like now if you come up with a disabled child, I cannot do anything else, but what I can do is like move forward looking after him and like give him the best version of himself. So yeah, and that will be like a 5 steps. So
Love it.
accepting is most important thing. Like a lot of people don't know how to accept it.
All right, brilliant. Russell, how can people get a hold of you?
Best places are LinkedIn and Facebook right now. I'm active on both platforms. And
Nice.
yeah, check out my podcast as well, which is Rasel Show. So from there, they can know more about my stuff.
Excellent. We're going to put the link in our show notes. And what's one piece of advice you want to leave people with that would allow them that they can start using it right away and get a better life? What would that be?
Yeah, you have to think about it. You got time. So time is important. So you have to have like a patient. A lot of people think like we don't have enough time. So even though you're on a deathbed, still you got time. So we always like chase, and forget about living a life. So when you have like a time, then you can relax a bit, take it easy, go to your next steps, enjoy a moment, enjoy a present moment. Otherwise, you keep on chasing the next thing or like going back in the past, what happened to me, and being victimized. So yeah, enjoy the moment.
Brilliant. Russell, thanks so much for being on the show. Really enjoyed the conversation and looking forward to our next.
Yeah, thank you so much.
If you enjoyed this episode, please go to iTunes and leave a 5-star rating. And if you're looking for more tools, go to my website at nolimitselling.com. I've got a free mind training course there that's going to teach you some insights from the world of neuro-linguistic programming, and that is the fastest way to get better results.